going on, guys? Arekkz here, and today we're going to be checking out something really cool, and that is the HyperX Ducky 1.2 Mini. This is a collaboration that came out of nowhere, and honestly, I did not see this one coming, but this is incredibly exciting because this is, of course, if you guys are familiar with keyboards, if you know your keyboards, if you're part of the kind of keyboard community, so to speak, then Ducky is a name I'm sure a lot of you will be very familiar with. They are, of course, big players in the 60% keyboard range, the kind of mini, micro, small, small form factor, however many ways you want to describe it. Small keyboards, basically. That's what Ducky do. And this is actually HyperX's first ever 60% keyboard. And it's my first 60% keyboard as well. This is why I'm super excited, because up until this point, I get all my keyboards from HyperX, right? They are, of course, sponsored on this channel. I love their products anyway, and I've just been using the Alloy FPS for quite some time. It's like my current main driver. I love it. I've got the kind of cool custom keycaps on it, everything. So I haven't really, up until this point, needed to check something else out. However, I have always been interested in these kind of small form factor keyboards just because I don't necessarily need like a hefty, chunky unit on my desk. I kind of just want something that's just a small footprint, safe space. I like that sort of minimal layout. So the fact that HyperX and Ducky are now working together to produce this limited edition keyboard is very exciting. So they sent me one. So today we're gonna unbox it and talk about what makes this so special. And obviously if you guys are interested yourself, you can check out more about this keyboard in the description box down below. There is a link you can click there to find it out, because it is limited edition. So if you want one, you're gonna need to act fast. There's only 3,700 of these in the world. I have one, so there's only 3,699 out there. So yeah, click the link. So let's talk about this keyboard, right? So for those of you guys that are familiar with the name Ducky, then of course, as mentioned at the beginning, they are the ones that are very well known for their 60% small form factor keyboards. And if you have got a Ducky 1.2 Mini, this is almost identical. I mean, largely speaking, form factor wise, it's pretty much the same. It is a Ducky keyboard. However, there are a few improvements in here, and we've got some nice HyperX switches in this, which makes it a very compelling product. Plus, it's black and red. You guys know me, that's my color scheme. They basically made this keyboard for me. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's open this up, shall we? You know that time when you try to open something and you want to look swish on camera, but it just doesn't work? It was kind of that. So, nice. So first things first, this is a nice little sort of dust cover. If you want it, you can put it on top of your keyboard to, surprise, keep the dust off. We then of course have the keyboard itself, which is very small. Now, I mean, it's one thing to say 60% keyboard. This is this is a iPhone 10. It's a small keyboard. And we'll get more into kind of the specifics in a moment, but looks very nice. We also have an instruction manual. This is normally the point in my unboxings where I'm like, I don't need an instruction manual. I know how to use this. However, this is a different keyboard. There's a lot of on-board macros, kind of, no software for this stuff. So if you want to be able to do some of the kind of tricky things and learn how to program it, you're going to want to hang on to this. So this is one of those manuals. Don't throw it away. Then we also have the charging cable. This is USB-C. You, of course, have this nice rubber cable and the sort of little Ducky branding around the middle. We have a pack of some additional color keycaps. So of course, the keyboard itself comes with the couple of red ones on there, but we do have some additional ones if you want to change out where the arrow keys would be, which again, I'll speak about in a moment. And we also have this really cool, so Ducky do this anyway, they have, for different Chinese New Years, for the different zodiacs and whatnot, it is currently the Year of the Rat. So this is the Year of the Rat spacebar, which I love this stuff. I love these kind of designs. I know, for some people it might be a little bit sort of loud and, over the top, but I honestly really like this. So this is 100% going on my keyboard. These, by the way, are all double shot PBT keycaps, except for one of them. There's the HyperX escape key in here. And if you kind of sort of look at the back of it, you'll see that it's slightly different to the regular double shot PBT cap. So the HyperX one is slightly sort of low quality, just this individual keycap. But everything else, double shot PBT, very nice keycaps with plenty of potential to let that LED shine through. So let's talk about some of the stuff on the keyboard that is incredibly exciting. First things first, I want to talk just external, appearances, aesthetics and whatnot. This does have a very nice red and black design. I said before, red and black is my color scheme. It's also HyperX's color scheme. I'm not saying they copied me, but I mean, whatever, you can make your own mind up. But the point is, very, very nice. In the back, it is a red gloss, so obviously it does pick up fingerprints, but it's largely speaking going to be on the floor. You're not really on the floor. Who puts their keyboard on the floor? Largely speaking, it's going to be on your desk. It's going to be face down, so you're not really going to see that too much. But on the back, there is also the little metal plate that shows you what number you have. So I have number 1,572 out of 3,700. So that's a special number, which is pretty cool. Of course, on the back, you also have these nice little feet as well, which is really cool because you basically have, you know, especially considering this is a 60% keyboard, sometimes for the small form factor, you tend to sort of lose out on features like that, but this has 2 adjustable feet. So you have the regular incline, if you just have the keyboard down like that. You can then kick the feet out for the full length, or you can then fold out a smaller inner foot if you want to have, you know, a slightly shallower incline. So you basically have 3 positions of adjustable height depending on how you like your keyboard to be placed. Now, for those of you guys wondering about the price, this one goes for $110, which is ever so slightly more than the regular 1-2 Mini, about $10 more. So, you know, you're not looking at a sizable markup, but that is basically sort of what you're looking at. And it is around 302 millimeters in length, 108 millimeters in depth, and it is 40 millimeters high. It also comes in at 599 grams, so just shy of 0.6 kg. So it's not heavy. You can almost put it in your pocket. In fact, you know what? I've got my Kung Fu pants on today. This is basically gonna fit in my pocket. So, I don't know who walks around with a keyboard in their pockets, but whatever. You know, I'm not gonna judge. Now, obviously, being a Ducky unit, this does have Ducky Macro 2.0 support. One of the things you're, of course, gonna need to get used to, and part of the reason I said to hold on to the manual is because this is a small, compact keyboard, so you don't have dedicated arrow keys. You, of course, don't have all of your other keys. You don't even have a dedicated delete key. So a lot of things you'll need to do are through function and macro combinations. There's, of course, a lot of customization you can do on this thing, and we'll speak more about that in a moment, but that is something to keep in mind. Now, speaking specifically about the keys, because obviously this is a keyboard, that is pretty important. This specific one has the HyperX red linears, which are really good switches for gaming. These are very similar kind of actuation force to the Cherry MX Reds, 45 grams, but they do have a shorter actuation point and total travel distance, about 0.2 millimeters less. So basically, they're faster. So these are very good keys, very nice keys, and they're rated at 80 million strokes. Now, obviously, that's not something that I can verify for a review because I'm not about to sit here and press the key 80 million times. I would be here for a very long time. But safe to say, you're going to get your mileage out of this keyboard. By the time you break the keys, you're probably going to have bought a new keyboard. Let's be honest. When it comes to talking about customization, of course, there's a ton of RGB lighting in this thing. A few things worth noting, beneath the spacebar, there's actually some additional lighting beneath there, so you actually get a lot of nice light shining through. The HyperX switch themselves are actually raised dip LEDs, which actually means that the LED is effectively mounted on the top of the switch itself, which basically results in, you know, considerably more light coming through. So when you are, especially, you know, at the moment it's daytime, so you might not see it quite the same, but if it's nighttime, you're going to get a lot of nice glow coming through this thing. And when it comes to actually physically customizing it, one thing that I think a lot of people enjoy and like about the Ducky keyboard is the fact that this does not have any software. This is all customized on the board, again, which is why you need the manual, because all the color customization, all the different profiles, all the lighting, the kind of, you know, the different tones and whatnot, all of it is done through the keyboard. So for those of you guys that are used to HyperX keyboards, those of you that are used to using the Ingenuity software to basically customize things like the Alloy FPS or any of the other kind of keyboards like that, this is not supported on that software because all of it is customized on the board. So just keep that in mind. Something you need to kind of get used to. Once you've configured it, once you've got your setup, you're not going to need to change too much, but that is something you need to consider. Now, for those of you that want to hear what it sounds like to type on this thing, then let me cut the music and we'll have a little bit of ASMR, shall we? So that is pretty much all there is to it at the moment. That is a quick rundown on the HyperX / Ducky 1-2 Mini. Really, really cool keyboard. Honestly, I'm very excited to jump into it. I can tell already it's going to take a little bit of adjusting because I don't mind losing the numpad. I don't use the numpad too much. I am, however, going to find it very strange not having dedicated arrow keys. I use them a lot because obviously I edit videos a lot and I use the arrow keys pretty much all the time. So the fact that these are now present on the keyboard and the fact that, you know, I need to effectively use a function key to get to them Not necessarily in the world, and I do like the, I'm gonna kind of embrace the challenge because I do want this nice small form factor keyboard, but it's definitely gonna be, you know, something to kind of get used to. I would love to see them work on maybe like a 65% keyboard so we could then have dedicated arrow keys and still the nice form factor. Like, if this collaboration goes well and HyperX and Ducky want to kind of work together on a 65% keyboard, that would be really good. Please do that. I'll be all for it. But in the meantime, this is honestly very cool. In fact, if you're not used to kind of the missing keys, you can of course use some of the additional keys they've given you, because the arrow keys typically take place on I, J, K, and L. So you can actually take off the keycaps and put the arrow keys on there. So at least, you know, visually you know where to find them. But again, it's all part of an adjusting thing. You can also change the switch in the back if you want to adjust where the function key is. So, you know, there's a lot of, it's safe to say, I think you can probably gather, there's a lot of customization you can do with this thing, which makes it very exciting. But anyway, that's it for the time being. That is a quick look at the new HyperX Ducky 1.2 Mini. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then a like would be super appreciated. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications. Super important. If you guys enjoy the content we put out on this channel and you don't want to miss the next videos, it massively helps us out, as does leaving a like. So if you guys did enjoy this, you did enjoy the content, then stick around, turn those on, stay subscribed, and we'll be back again for plenty more. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there. If you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with, it's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.